Hi, Gary Bernier, founder of the Goal Evolution Group, and I'd like to read you a letter that I received in the mail this week. Dear Gary, I'm not sure if you can help me. You see, I've read Tony Robbins, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and The Secret. I've also studied several other self-help books, and I'm not seeing the changes in my life. I am frustrated because I am motivated and serious about making these changes. I find myself lying awake at night, wondering what I'm missing. I am confused because I know I am not dumb, but I'm just not seeing the results I was expecting. I hope you can see my dilemma. What is it that you can do that could help me with this, as I need to discover the answer? Yours truly, Jay. Jay, great question. And in order to answer that, I need to share a story with you about the early days of my business and how I discovered the answer to your question. There was a time when I was working 80+ hours a week. My wife barely saw me, and I wasn't spending much time with my family or friends. I was driving around a used truck, flying out of town for at least a week a month to work. My wife wanted kids, but we couldn't think that this was the right time because I would have been an absentee father. I was following my dad's advice, work hard. I had goals written down and a bookshelf full of self-help books, just like you. We're living in an apartment close to the office, close to the airport. My business was doing well enough to pay the bills, but I was always worried about sales for the next month. I was living paycheck to paycheck. In fact, probably could have done better working for somebody else. One day I did the math and all the employees were making more per hour than I was. Not a great time. Now let me tell you about the day that I really lost it. I have to tell you, I still have a little trouble sharing this with you. I finished work on a Friday afternoon in California, dumped the rental car, flew home on the red eye, arrived home, and immediately went right back to sleep. I'm sure on that weekend, I either did some work at home or went into the office because, like I said, I live close to the office and the airport for obvious reasons. Monday morning is when I lost it. You see, I sat down with my business partner for a recap to catch up over a cup of coffee. And he started to tell me about the great time he had had the previous week golfing with our two buddies, Tom and Regan, our vendor partners, and how wonderful Regan's golf swing was and how close Regan had dropped it to the pin. All the time Regan does that, he says, I haven't golfed recently. Inside, as I'm listening to this story, I'm losing it. Because here I am busting my ass, making huge sacrifices to get this business to work, and he's talking about golfing. It was at that moment I knew things needed to change. There had to be a better way to do things. So I decided to change some things. I decided no more red eyes, fly out on Monday, back on Friday, even if it cost the company a little more. So I didn't sacrifice my precious weekends. I thought these adjustments would do the trick and everything would be better. A little while later, I had a conversation with an associate of mine. And he asked me if everything was okay. And when I told him it was, he said, really? He then proceeded to ask me if I could grow my business 10 times. Not double, but 10 times. I did the math and it was pretty obvious that it was never going to work. I was never going to be able to grow 10 times. I would never have the life that I dreamed about following this path because it just wouldn't work. His recommendation was to join a group. What he was asking me to do was spend $6,500 on 4 group meetings. This was $1,500 per day, what I was charging a student of mine for a week's worth of training. I swallowed hard and agreed to give it a try. So the first day comes and I'm sitting in this chair in front of a desk with a projector and a screen and a binder. And I begin to think to myself, this is just like my training business, only way more expensive. So the people in the room start introducing themselves, telling everyone why they're here, and immediately I'm like, these guys are really screwed up. They're a hot mess. They might be way more successful in business, but their lives are a complete shambles. So I really started to doubt this decision to join this group, because how could these messed up people help me if they were more of a mess than I was? Well, I figured I'm sitting here, I might as well see what happens. Before I knew it, it was my turn to take the hot seat and talk about my life and my business. I'm having to share these uncomfortable issues with a group of strangers. You could say I felt a little naked and vulnerable in front of that group. And this was the beginning of the transformation in my life. Because I was getting ideas thrown at me from the left right down the center and from the right. The tools were making me look at things totally differently. And for the first time since I started my business, I had a group of people interested in helping me with my business. And no matter what they were working on in their life, they just wanted to help others do better. I left the first day pumped up, charged up, ready to make these changes right away because I decided to play full out. Now, what I did not expect is what happened next. It seemed like nobody cared. My partner was like, yeah, well, you know, we've got all that stuff in the books and it just seems to make common sense. And my wife was like, whatever. Does this mean you're going to make more money? So now I'm really confused. What did I get myself into? Is it really worth it? Should I have really spent all that money? I'm sitting in my office moping when the phone rings. And it's that other guy, that person that recommended I join the group in the first place. I'm like, perfect! I just want to rip into him. And after I'd finished my rant about this being a complete waste of time and that nobody thought these ideas were significant, he wisely said to me, where did you get those ideas? Would you have gotten them any other way? And that's when it hit me. The little voice inside my head pipes up and says, oh my, you can't do this alone. You can't do this by yourself. You need the group. You see, some of these ideas that I got were from other people sitting in the hot seat. So even though it wasn't specific to me, I learned from it. I felt good helping those other people. I got benefit, they got benefit. Now I've seen this group effect happen over and over again, and I have to share this with you. This is the lesson that literally changed my life. You can read books like I did. You can get knowledge like I did. You can be motivated like I was. You can set goals like we have with these goal sheets. But the real secret, the one thing you cannot do on your own, you need a group. The funny thing is, not just for the support and accountability like people say, you need a group to find a solution. The real breakthroughs happen when someone else is on the hot seat, and it can be truly amazing. So all I'm asking you to do is please, please promise me this. Get involved in a group. It will change your life. Whether you form a group yourself, find another group to work with, or join mine, I would love to work with you and have you as part of my group. Our groups meet in a fully interactive online environment. This is the best way I could find to get everyone in one room. You see, this works when you can see and hear everyone at the same time. The fact that you're using technology quickly fades away as you become immersed in the group experience. It's just like sitting around a kitchen table with a bunch of good friends talking about your hopes and dreams. Again, I would love to have you in a group, but if for some reason it does not work for you, please either form a group or find another one to join. This is really important. And I will finish with this thought. You don't have to believe me about this, as it is a secret that billionaires have known for decades. Napoleon Hill, the author of the Laws of Success book, clearly states that one of these laws is to participate in a mastermind group, that this is one of the billionaire's most powerful secrets. Here's the thing. I participated in the group I was describing, and I've gone on to participate in many others and informed several groups myself, only to discover this link during a group session between the Laws of Success and the book sitting on my shelf many years later. Thank you for your question.